Hello, Ibi,
Hello, Costa.
and welcome everyone to our weekly discussions and contemplations into the gene keys. For this week, we've decided to look into the 63rd gene key that goes from the shadow of doubt or self-doubt into the city of truth and bridges with the transformational way through inquiry. So just to start off, I'm probably going to read a little passage from the book, the Gene Keys book, and this is coming straight from the gift inquiry, the ladder of self-inquiry. When the energy of doubt is harnessed cleanly, it becomes the gift of inquiry. Inquiry is about remaining open without finding a definite answer to life. All pure inquiry is of great service to humanity. It inevitably unlocks many of nature's secrets by examining life in minute detail. The real purpose of doubt is to serve the higher good in an impersonal way. If someone has a deep genetic tendency to doubt or ask questions, they can greatly improve the quality of their life and relationships by channeling that doubt away from their potential life and pressing it into service. The 63rd gift is about progression through levels and stages. This is the way in which logical understanding works. The continual pressure of doubt fuels the spirit of inquiry, which leads to deeper and deeper levels of understanding. However, the more deeply you inquire into anything, the more complex it becomes. You have to take it apart piece by piece, whether it is a scientific theory or an internal combustion engine. What is of prime importance is what you learn through the process. As you slowly ascend the ladder of frequencies, the nature of your inquiry changes. You may begin by inquiring into some aspect of the world around you. This may be something you really want to understand, or it may be something about the world that you want to improve or challenge. There is one golden rule with the 63rd gift of inquiry. If you inquire deeply enough into anything, you will arrive at the revelation that you, the observer, are intricately bound with that which you observe. This discovery actually heralds the beginning of the end of the logical approach, since it signifies the end of your ability to assess life objectively. At high levels of frequency, you begin to enter the holistic domain of synthesis, in which all phenomena are increasingly seen to affect each other. This new quantum world thus forces your inquiry into a far more subjective territory, that of your inner self. At a certain stage, the gift inquiry must always lead you back into yourself. So I don't know if you want to start that off, Ibi, from there, but I just want to say that from my perspective, with the gift of inquiry, and this has also been shown in other traditions such as martial arts, especially like in sword fighting, when you fixate yourself on one thing, then that actually limits you. But when you start to open yourself up to everything, um, it will help you find the flow as to where you need to go. And that's what inquiry does by allowing things to be open, even objectively, so that there is movement rather than saying, oh no, this is a fixed truth. Um, and that in itself leads to that limitation. So it's very hard to grow from that. Whereas I see the growth coming from the limitation, but then not needing that statement or that fixation. It's like saying I can feel the energy of of some truth into that, and then I can test it, I can experience it, and then I can keep improving on it. And I think if I do that, then you receive new layers of truth that come into it because you're seeing something being revealed in the process as you test something. It's like saying, you're riding a bike and then you think, oh no, I can't ride it. That's my truth. Well, actually, that's because you haven't tested yourself in the process. But the more you start doing it, maybe you start failing, you fall over like a child would do, and everyone can relate to that. Eventually, it becomes like second nature, and that is a truth to know that the doubt is part of the process, but it's not the end result. So yeah, the inquiry is about to be open for transformation, or open for flow. What do you think?
Yes, that's beautiful to really stop and see inquiry and how this energy is moving from doubt to truth. And it's exactly how you said. Doubt is actually there to help us go deeper into the inner inquiry and to find what is resonating inside for us as truth. And what I like in this key, which is such a complex and such a powerful one, that it has this perfection in the hexagram. So is the perfect hexagram is called after completion, which is yin, yang, yin, yang. And it's actually the truth is not individual, but each of us holds a part of the truth. So the whole truth is it's a collective field that is made of all the individual truth. And our part is not about finding the whole truth, but recognizing in each event, in each moment, what is true for ourselves. And it's interesting, this field starts this journey because it's the beginning and the end of the human journey, finding the truth. We are here to find the truth. And it starts with doubt. So doubt is there to serve a higher purpose, to pressure us, is a mental pressure, to find answers, to seek answers, to find the truth behind any concept or any event or sequence of happenings. And the logic, using logic, is the left brain, which is trying to make sense and to find answers. But also doubt is necessary in order to go into this journey of awareness and inquiry and to find out. So it starts with one point of view, which is your point of view, but then, or somebody else's point of view. But inquiry and doubt is testing that point of view and going around and finding more perspectives around one thing, so you can create a bigger image, a more complete image about that, until inside is resonating with the field of truth. And this 63 third jinki is actually interesting. It's bringing more, maybe more than others, this awareness that doubt and truth are not personal. What happens really is that we are making it personal. for example, if somebody is asking my opinion or my point of view over something, and then it goes and asks, I don't know, 10 other people, I can, if I make it personal, I will feel offended that this person is not trusting what I said, or is making it personal and doubting it. But doubt is not personal. Is really a force, a driving force that is driving us to go inwards and to find, not get identified with one point of view, but to find and illuminate, in a way, through the connection with the 64, illuminate something that needs to be explored or known. And it's this glitch that is coming into the mind, being a very mental key, is coming because the mind cannot deal with the concept of infinity. So we are an infinite being, right? Living a finite journey into the body, but the mind tries to find answers to something that cannot be brought or cannot be described or contained within the mind. So that's why where we get stuck is when doubt transforms into self-doubt. And then we start self-sabotaging ourselves because we lose trust in ourselves, in our creativity. And instead of using this energy to channel it into creatively, into finding a logic sequence and deepening the truth about a subject or about something that we are looking to find answers, we are actually losing trust, and then we we make everything about ourselves. So I don't know if you want to add something or have a reflection about this.
Yeah, thanks, Ibi. Quite a layered response there with many different tangents and ways I can approach that. Just to pull you up on the last point, specifically on we try and use our mind to find the answers for truth. It comes back to like an esoteric statement that I know of, where it's no mind creates mind, but mind cannot create no mind, meaning we have to move away from the thinking mind to realize there's a bigger play in the universe that we are maybe unaware of or we understand as a concept. And it goes back to this idea of using yin and yang or masculine and feminine logic or intuition working together to set the conditions or to have the right relationship. Similar to seeing doubt being something like the ego trying to put these different thoughts and processes in play, and you're allowing that to control you, whereas you're not giving any space beyond that, so that you can. The space is the inquiry, in fact. You questioning something is providing a space to say, no, there's something other than what is being shared, so that it adds an expansion to the process. And that alone, if you're allowing yourself to be open, you would take that in and say, okay, this is another truth that I can bring in. I can test it, like you said, and then experience it. And so if we continue down this journey, then you can see it's forever and infinite. It's a forever unfolding that goes on and on forever. And every part of that process is the truth, or it's a truth, because everyone's process will be different, as it would be. But it's still their truth. It's still what's being shared. And I guess it's also coming down to making sure that we remain honest in the approach, because if we take in the self-doubt or whatever is cluttering up our minds as truth, then we believe that to be our own world. And maybe we don't give ourselves permission to ask, or we don't give ourselves permission for other people to question us. So most people don't like to be challenged. I just don't like to be challenged. It's like we're identified with where we're at and we're not ready for the question. And that for me is a test of where you're at in your life, whether it's spiritually or physically, mentally, emotionally, to see how stable one can be. And for me, that also happened just today. For example, I was with mum. She was asking me, "Hey, do you need the keys to lock the door?" And I was like, "Do you need?" I said, "It's okay. I can lock the door, for example." And then she would say, "Oh, but you need the keys." And for me, it's like, well, of course I need the keys to lock. I mean, why can't you? Why, what part of that don't you understand what I shared? And not because it was said once, but it was said multiple times. And what I realized in that process afterwards is that she was trying to help me to say, you don't need your keys, so we're going to be there. So she was trying to be nice and kind in her own way, but she couldn't. She couldn't. Um, I couldn't see that because I didn't inquire. So I assumed based off that one statement it was fine. So it's important to keep oneself open, especially in that case for me, to see that deep down there was a greater intention to try and help, and I didn't need to go through that spin of getting reactive in the process because I had my truth of what is being shared out of the words that were said more than once. And there's always another side to it. So I need to figure out another way of looking at it from her perspective and realizing those two stories or statements can find a relationship together. And this is the same thing what I see with the gene keys. It's always about finding a relationship with the shadow or finding a relationship with the gift, or how can we enhance acidic realm, acidic state to come in? How can we bring in the no mind into that state? And that would also include going even beyond the heart in a way, which we can't speak of, but I know it's there. As a concept, I know it's there. And again, it's like the same thing with yoga, because this has a very flavored yoga sense of concentration, follow sequences. When you get to the state of enlightenment, it's the same state as where you were before, just with a heightened sense of frequency. But nothing has really changed. The inner self has changed. But it's knowing that every part of the journey will get you to the same place, but you realize it's just a ring or it's a circle. So it's like, okay, well, there's nothing else I can do, but just have to surrender to that. So yeah, it's finding that play of the two and being gentle of the approaches we use with the gene keys. And that's why inquiry is such an important stance, because it hones in on a problem and to see how can we find space for something else to come through so we can find a solution to that. And that can then provide the drive to keep moving forward. Because if we get stuck in that spin of self-doubt, then we become destructive. And then that leads to, the shadow states of whether you're going to be suspicious of other people and exert that self-doubt onto others. Or as an introvert, you'll just be self-doubting everything. So you won't get anything done. You won't be moving forward. So yeah, that's just my little play from what I feel. So thanks, Ibi.
Yes, thank you, Costa. That is a very accurate, and this important quality of the inquiry as a frequency band of this gene key to remain open is actually revealing, or is here to reveal the true nature of the mind, which is to continue asking questions and refine the questions until you ask the right questions. And it's not really about finding a single answer that ends the journey, the doubt, because this is what the mind tries to solve, is this fear of uncertainty or fear of unknown, is trying to bring a definitive answer. One point is trying to collapse all the possibilities into one single answer that will give the feeling of safety. But actually, that feeling of it's not about that. It's not about arriving at a final destination. It's about keep asking questions and navigating through every circumstance or every inquiry with openness and needing, it's like a tuning fork. The truth is trying to find the perfect resonance inside with the inner truth. And this is coming from having more reflections, so inquiring in different places and doubting and being skeptical or not even skeptical, just searching more than one reflection from which inside is getting this resonance, and it's finding the deeper truth that is already there inside.
Yeah.
And it's a practical thing about when you are navigating the doubt frequency is, and this self-doubt, the best thing is not to lock and isolate yourself, because the 63 represents the sixth seal in the seven sacred seals, in this mystical part of the Jinkies teachings. And the sixth line is all about trust, right? And the wound of separation, isolation. And so when you are in self-doubt or doubt, is better to share it with others and not to isolate yourself, or not to go into a premature action or identification with one answer and then needing to defend it and needing to build walls in front of it, so you defend that identity or that point of view, or just because you want to be on the safe side.
Yeah, and also it's realizing when we are in the doubt or the story that's being created, as if you fall victim to that, and therefore nothing can come in that process. So it's then using your mind and your heart to say, okay, these other narratives that can come into play, let them be there. All is to be trusted, all is to be forgiven, and all is to be allowed. And in doing so, you find a deeper surrender, you find a deeper truth to that. So, yeah, it's very powerful to know that there's never a one way only, or there's no the way only.
Yes, it's not one way, but it's beautiful how we have inside this navigation tool the ability to know and to feel when there is truth. there is when somebody is speaking the truth, or in a situation, if there is this field of truth. And Richard says in the 63 that truth is actually a field, and this beautiful is the field of perfection, this perfect balance between yin and yang lines. And when there is no truth, so where there is a lie or something, somebody is telling a lie or omitting to say something that's also not the entire truth, the field is distorted. This field of perfection, which is, if you can imagine the energetic field around us as a field in sacred geometry, that sacred geometry is distorted. And that's why it's important to be honest and self-honest. It's especially towards yourself, to keep this field of truth, which is affecting all the meridians, all the health. If you are living in a lie, or there is something that you keep for yourself, and this is also connecting with the Jinki 59, or you created a reality or a story and identified with that, this field of truth is distorted, and the whole body will try to tell you that you are living a lie somewhere. You are not aligned with the truth. And this can appear in many ways. But yes, it also appears as a lack of trust towards others, because you are not aligned with this field of truth, and then you cannot trust yourself to know the truth, or you have this secret somewhere hidden, and that's why you don't have the whole censorship open, or really able to tune into the higher harmony of the universe, that is always bringing the right answers, and it's always revealing the truth, because truth is in every step. So there is no step that is not true. It's just a fine tuning, always through this inquiry and through asking the right questions.
Yeah, I can see how you can link in, like you mentioned, the 59 to this by being transparent, because you're hiding something, whether it's conscious or unconscious, or even, for example, the 9th gene key with using the step-by-step approach through determination and realizing all is in the one step. 1,000 steps are in the one step, and it can be infinitesimal, and also can be invisible in the process, because it's invisible maybe on the exterior, but on the interior, that's the terrain that you're exploring to remove or to clear up whatever shadows are lingering in the process, and to give it time in a forgiving, loving relationship. So I don't know if you want to add anything else, but for me, just for everyone, if you've enjoyed this in our session so far, feel free to comment below with any of your inquiries, or what you'd like to see or hear more from, and also just to share if you have this gene key or any feedback as a way to see what can be explored in the process in the upcoming weeks. So from me, it's much love. Ibi, any last words?
Thank you, Costa. It was a pleasure, and Bye, everyone.
Mhm.
See you next time.